Good evening, everybody. I'm going to call to order the October 7th, 2024 Board of Aldermen meeting. Would everybody please join with me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka, absent. Alderwoman Tice. Here. Alderman Weggie.
Here.
Alderwoman Sims. Here. Alderman Lockmiller. Here. Alderman Gould.
Here.
Alderwoman Harder. Here. Alderman Erger.
Here.
7 of 8 members are present, representing a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Next item is the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes? Any objection to approving the same by acclamation? Seeing none, it will be so approved. Next up is citizen comments. Anybody in the public care to address the Board of Aldermen? Now is the time to do so. All we ask is that you come to this podium, state your name and your address, and you'll be given up to 3 minutes. You don't have to just walk on up. Yeah.
My name's Corey Hogan. I'm with the IAFF Local 2665. My address is in Lake St. Louis. Is it pertinent?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me if I read. I don't work here, but I represent the men and women that do. I'm the vice president of one of the largest locals in the United States. I represent 75 agencies, municipalities, fire districts, ambulance districts, dispatching agencies across eastern Missouri. I say this not to impress you guys, but to give you perspective. In covering such a large area, Local 2665 in turn oversees 75 working agreements, 75 chiefs, 75 Board of Aldermen, mayors, etc. You guys get the point. I can say with certainty there is not one fire district operating without a CBA where the firefighters have pursued one. And that is very simply what your firefighters want, a contract, a guarantee that a 25 or 30-year career, they can retire with dignity. Brentwood's firefighters want to guarantee their stability and their future. A competitive pay and benefit package that is as good or better than the cities and districts they respond with. And like other departments in Local 2665, they deserve it. However, rather than working towards this end, the city of Brentwood has shown that it wants to be the exception to this rule. Brentwood has evaded their obligation to collectively bargain for nearly 3 years now. The city has also enabled a city administrator that refuses to treat the men and women that risk so much, see so much, and give so much for the community they serve with any shred of respect or appreciation for the vital services that they provide. To this point, the city administrator thinks so highly of the men and women that protect this community that she has allocated most of 1 single hour a month to negotiate and sit in a room with them to decide a contract for their future. This has been going on for 3 years. Furthermore, the city administrator has on multiple occasions who not only represents Brentwood, but is one of Brentwood's firefighters. A leader who would himself love nothing more than to retire as a Brentwood firefighter. And for that effort, his job has been threatened and discipline has been issued by a city administrator that demands respect for her office, but does not reciprocate that to his. John Youngblood approached me a few weeks ago with an issue he's been dealing with. Several of his firefighters are considering their options elsewhere. Members that have invaluable experience, years of loyal and dedicated service to the community and city of Brentwood, filling out applications at other departments to be the new guy, to go to the bottom of the seniority list, back to being a private, knowing they may have to work harder, but also knowing that the place that they're going to will respect and value them as employees. John himself is one of these people. Council members, I can tell you that I've seen this before in other communities, some nearby, and trust me when I tell you these people will be welcomed with open arms as an asset to the departments that they join, and Brentwood will be left with the task of hiring inexperienced people and training them to learn the area, learn their jobs as paramedics and firefighters and officers, only to leave and start this circle over. The citizens of Brentwood will suffer because of this. The men and women behind me are here tonight for one reason: to demand the city of Brentwood agree to a set of bargaining protocols and sit down with its firefighter paramedics and actually bargain to reach a contract. I want it on record. We're not here because these firefighters behind me are greedy. These members have worked here loyally without a guarantee that they can retire with their tenure honored, and they want a voice at the table moving forward. They are here because of how they have been treated by the city administrator, and they are fed up. If you care about your
Excuse me, Corey,
firefighters,
are you about done?
I am.
Okay, thank you.
Wrapping it up right now. If you care about your firefighters, paramedics, if you care about your citizens, give direction tonight to engage in some meaningful bargaining protocols. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, my name's Dennis Murray. I'm the president of the local, and we're here tonight. As I came in City Hall, I noticed you had a flyer up there, and I believe in it. It says the smoke detectors save lives. Well, these brothers and sisters behind me are the ones that put the fires out. And I think the Brentwood Fire Department is being mistreated. I think you have a city that she meets once a month, and there's no progress being made at all. Kevin O'Keefe and me go way, way back. Kevin knows me from way back. We've dealt in many cities. We're here to make sure that the city is being ran properly and that the firefighters, paramedics are being, their pension is solid, their salaries are compatible, their vacation is there. We can't even get to some of that stuff. She meets once a month, and the last time I heard, what upset me was, could you stay around for a minute, John? I want to talk to you. And then she's verbally reprimanded him. That's part of being a United States citizen, freedom of speech. And that's all we're trying to do is come to, I don't want to, but we'll probably be forced to file charges against the city for unfair labor practices. It's going to cost the city money. It's going to cost us money. We have a huge IFF International in Washington, D.C., and this is what they try to make sure that our firefighter paramedics are treated greatly, and I think they're being mistreated here. And I'm sorry to say that about your city manager. I think we need to look into it and find out if they can start setting up actual negotiating dates, and we'll go article by article. Kevin, you've been through it many, many times with us. We can work things out. We can come to an agreement, and I think we'll all be fine. But that's what the firefighter paramedics are asking. But just remember what I said. Smoke detectors save lives, but these brothers and sisters are the ones that will save and pull those people out of that building. So please take your thoughts and your consideration and consider, you know, negotiating and open it up. And I guarantee you within a few weeks, a few months, we'll have a written agreement and everybody, they're all over. We've got one in every 78 different agencies. We've probably got 77, a couple of them, we renew them. We try to go with a 3-year contract. I just want to say thank you, Mayor, for that.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Guy Sanfilippo, Ward 1, 9309 Litzinger Road. I'm here, in support, obviously, of the brave men and women that work for the Brentwood Fire Department, but I'm also here as a concerned resident. I'm a professional firefighter and paramedic and member of Local 2665, and I just have a few things to say as a resident that's concerned. Brentwood Fire Department, for many reasons, used to be a fantastic place to work. For many years, it was very difficult to get a job here, and this gives the department an edge. It allows them to hire the very best and brightest firefighter paramedics out there, resulting in a very strong and trustworthy service for the residents of Brentwood. That's something to be extremely proud of. You offer exceptional training opportunities from urban search and rescue, Swiftwater. You guys have new up-to-date fire trucks and ambulances, making your department very attractive to potential applicants. This was once a destination department, which means once you get hired here, you stay here for the duration of your career, and I've learned that that's no longer the case. You recently had a hiring process with 5 applicants, one of which got a job someplace else, leaving them to choose from 4 applicants, and it's just breathtaking, honestly, and it's unfortunate. So my fear as a resident is this is going to end up providing me and my family with a second-rate service. The city of Brentwood is truly unique. Our slogan is the city of warmth. It's up there on the board. Our proud residents include doctors, lawyers, middle class, blue collar, professional athletes, even members of the press. We all have one thing in common, our love for this community. You guys see it, generation after generation of families stay here and they live here, and proudly. I want you to understand that being a first responder truly is a calling. If you were to ask each and every one of us why we got into this business, every answer is going to have a common theme. We put our lives at risk doing this job, and none of us apply for these jobs for the paycheck. And at some point, we all realize and come to terms with the fact that we're never going to be wealthy, and that's okay, because this job is extremely rewarding. We come to your house, your place of business, and we're there to help, and it's extremely gratifying. So as a city council, collectively, you have got to compensate these brave men and women, or the result is going to end up being a revolving door, and they'll all start leaving one by one for better paying jobs, and they'll be replaced with fresh, new, young faces with a fraction of the knowledge and experience that these gentlemen have, gentlemen and ladies. And none of your residents, especially those with a lot of influence, are going to be happy to hear that it sounds like the city of warmth is cooling off. Thank you.
Good evening. Darren Chavis, shop steward with the Brentwood Fire Department. I'm here representing the professional firefighters of Brentwood. It's a collective unit. As you've heard tonight, we fear what is to come. Unfortunately, for the past 22 plus months, we've met in an effort to try to negotiate a collective bargaining agreement. Unfortunately, we have not come to any kind of meaningful discussion, any kind of realistic counter proposals. We've submitted a 30-plus page collective bargaining agreement document to go through. It's nothing that is much different from all the cities around us and what they have in place. We are asking for you all as the board to help protect our future, to help protect our firefighters, to help protect the recruitment and the retention of those who we look to keep for the duration of their career, so we have good, experienced firefighters, and also to retain. You heard our hiring process was very slim to pick from. There could be many reasons as to why that occurred, but I wholeheartedly believe because if somebody looks to come to this fire department, they're going to look and see that, well, we don't have a collective bargaining agreement. While we appreciate all of the efforts that went into the recent wage adjustments, we have currently been in negotiations, and wages are a mandatory part of subject of bargaining. But when this happened, we had no seat at the table. We had no influence, no ability to negotiate these step raises, where people were placed. We appreciate the city doing everything they could that we thought you could afford in this new pay structure, but there was some room to be able to place our tenured employees where they should be. You have heard us ask for time and position. I feel that was not an unreasonable request, and for most of our employees, you gave them that time and position. The people who lacked was our tenured employees, our senior firefighter paramedics, and all of our company officers. So what we are asking is that following the last negotiation meeting that we had, the city attorney asked us to, or the negotiating attorney, I apologize, asked us to write in writing what exactly it was we were asking. So I'm coming to you today as a shop steward on behalf of our firefighters that we are asking that the city takes seriously the written request that we proposed last week to honor our time and position, to give the people who have been here, who have sacrificed, who have dedicated their life to this city, what they deserve, give them their time and position so we can send them out the door for the ones that are close to retirement and knocking on the door of retirement, so we can send them out with pride that they did something, that they accomplished, that the city valued them. That is what we are asking. In addition to that, we are asking for a collective bargaining agreement. We're asking this board to come together, direct your negotiating team to sit down with us in good faith, to come to an agreement and go back and forth to have some sort of negotiation. To date, again, we've had that 30-plus page document. All we've received in return is a one-page MOU that states, yes, we recognize that you guys are part of the union. To us, that is not good for our employees. That is not good for our shop. We need to do something to establish faith in our younger generation of firefighters to want to stay here and want to dedicate their time and their sacrifices of not only their life, their body, but their family, time away from their family. We want to go back to the city that we were and the fire department that we were to give us the best people that we can possibly have to provide the services that we know this city deserves. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. Anyone else? Anybody online? Okay, great, thank you. We'll move on to Mayor and Alderman reports. I have just a few things. First of all, Brentwood Days, I told the attendees at the Coffee with the Mayor last week, that I thought it was a successful event. You know, we're still waiting to hear from our Parks Director. No, he's not here tonight, that's right. How successful the wristbands were and the ticketing and how that reflects with the crowd size. But I thought, but in all, I'm hearing from our police department and our fire chief, everything went well. We had no emergencies. We had no real crime incidents. I think we have somebody from the police department. I think I saw Major Simpson somewhere. And the other thing is, I wanted to read a letter that I authored that showed up in today's email blast. Every week, Michelle Boyer, is Michelle here? Somewhere, okay. Our Director of Communications there she is, puts out an email with a lot of different things in there. And this week she was kind enough to put a letter that I authored, and I just wanted to read it for the Aldermen in case you haven't had a chance to read it, and for the residents who are watching in case they also haven't had a chance to read it, simply because I think it's a true success story. It's a good story to tell about the city. We made it through another summer, and I, for one, am looking forward to a spectacular fall season with all the activities the city has in store. A lot has happened with the city since the last newsletter, but one of the more consequential things was the Board of Aldermen approving a new compensation plan for the city employees. Since 2015, the city has been a market-based employer in that we pay what the market dictates. The way we accomplish this is to look at what other municipalities pay, and then our board sets the philosophy of where they want the employees to be relative to these municipalities or comparators. This year, we expanded the number of comparators from 14 to 24. Some of these new comparators included much larger municipalities like O'Fallon, which is a population of 90,000, St. Peter's with a population of 57,000, Wentzville, a population of 43,000, and University, a population of 35,000. Remember, our city has 8,300 people. After looking at what these 24 comparators were paying, the board decided upon a philosophy of the 60th percentile. That is, 10 comparators would pay more than us, and 14 comparators would pay less than us. At the 60th percentile, we needed to make adjustments to the current salary for our employees to get them to that desired percentile. Bear with me, I just lost it. Here are the results. Every single employee received a substantial increase in compensation. In fact, average increase was just over 12%. To put that into context, the top pay for our patrol officers will increase to $89,186 from the current $82,145. The top pay for our firefighters will increase to $98,327 from the current $86,145. The top pay for our fire captains went from the current $104,803 to the new top pay of $125,000. The same is true for our non-uniformed employees. The top pay for our sanitation drivers went from $65,303 to $73,000. The mechanics' top pay increased to $80,894 from the prior $68,569. These increases do not include the corresponding increases to the benefits, such as pension contributions. The total cost to the city for just 2024, for this year, is close to $1.44 million because the board approved making these increases retroactive to January 1st, 2024. And those employees, I'm happy to say, received that retroactive pay just this past weekend. With the adoption of this new compensation plan, our employees' compensation remains competitive with other municipalities similar to our size and in the central core of St. Louis County. The city's ability to fund this increase without raising taxes or cutting services to the residents speaks to the solid stewardship of our staff, and our elected officials. Thank you. Alderwoman Tice.
No report.
Alderman Weggie.
Ward 2 meeting, October 9th at 6 PM at the Rec Center.
Alderwoman Sims.
It is that time of year to take up the annual budget for 2025. You all have binders before you. I'm sure you'll commit every page to memory in the coming weeks. We have scheduled a series, Ways and Means has scheduled a series of special meetings where we're going to take up different departments. The first meeting is set for Wednesday, October 16th at 5:30. And then the second meeting is set for October 22nd, also at 5:30, and that will be in this room. Tentatively, as we've done in years past, we are going to break up. We're not taking up all of the departments on the same night. Tentatively, on the 16th, we are set to take up Public Works, Parks and Recreation, Planning and Development, and Capital Improvements. That will leave for 10/22, Police and Fire, Administration, IT, and EDST. That's tentative, but that's how our plan is looking as I sit here tonight. As we've done in years past, please, board, if you, when in reviewing the proposed 2025 budget, if you have questions, if you could submit them in advance of the meetings, we'll do our best to work through your questions and address your concerns. By all means, please come to the meetings, either by Zoom or in live attendance, and I'll be happy to recognize you with any questions. And that's
Thank
all
you.
I have.
Alderman Gould.
No report.
Alderman Lockmuller.
No report.
Alderwoman Harder.
No report.
And Alderman Erger.
No report.
Great, thank you. It brings us down to City Administrator Report. We have 5 items. Dr. Zelinski, is she here? I didn't see her. Oh, there we go. Dr. Zelinski with the Brentwood School, the superintendent. Hello, doctor.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. I will not take too much of your time. I am just here to actually celebrate a little bit around the great start to the school year that we've had. We kicked off, I came in April, I'm not sure if you remember, I was here in April before I officially started to talk about how excited I was to be able to be here in Brentwood and to partner with the city of Brentwood to help meet the needs of our kids. And now I'm almost 100 days into the job, and I have to say that I am extremely grateful to the opportunity to lead the Brentwood School District. I want to, first of all, remind you that our strategic plan, one of our goals is unified community engagement. And I want to celebrate and thank the board for their work on Brentwood Days and allowing Brentwood School District to be a part of it, and to their commitment to ensuring that the Brentwood staff were able to participate in Brentwood Days as community members and being a part of it. I also want to thank you for the opportunity to be present in the Brentwood Day Parade. It was a wonderful parade. I think Brentwood School District, we had our highest turnout, and our middle school may have won the best float at the Brentwood Day Parade. So we thank the board for that. We really want to also just look ahead and remind the board about how excited we are to continue that partnership moving forward. We want to invite everyone to our homecoming parade, or not parade, our homecoming game for football game will be on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. We'd like to see a huge turnout. We had our first football game last weekend and had a great turnout in the community. Brentwood is truly the city of warmth, as I have learned in my 100 days here, and we want to continue that as we work together with the city. We do have a small token of our appreciation for some Brentwood purple to add if you're going to be able to make it out to the game. Michelle has for you some Brentwood swag to wear to any of those Brentwood events so that we can wear our Brentwood purple with pride. So we thank you all for your time tonight, and just wanted to thank you for the warm welcome as we kickstart our year for this community. Thank you.
Thank you, doctor, and you're welcome anytime.
Thank you.
Next up is a Brentwood Bound update. Craig Schluter.
Full crowd tonight. Craig Schluter with Navigate Building Solutions. I'll be providing the Brentwood Bound update. I'm picking up 2 warrant lists in this update. First is construction costs, $285,031.72 was spent. Next is soft costs, $57 cents was spent on material testing, project management, railroad, and legal fees. There were no changes to categories of funding or reimbursements, so I have a quick update.
Thank you. Any questions? Alderman Weggie.
Hey, Craig, do you know when they're targeting to finish the crosswalk and everything right there at the,
Yeah, in the next 4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6
So,
weeks?
yeah, their landscaping's ongoing. They're putting up the Brentwood sign, all the new signals. Right now, we're trying to coordinate with Union Pacific on how to activate those lights. So that's beyond Brentwood, it's gonna involve St. Louis County, MoDOT, and Union Pacific. So we're scheduling that right now. So there's a variable there, but the goal is the next 4 to 6 weeks.
And then does that include the very small segments of GRG that still remain on the south
Yes.
side as well?
Correct.
You think so? Okay, great,
Yeah.
thanks.
Anybody else? Thanks, Craig.
Great, thank you.
Next on the agenda is item C, the 2025 annual budget for the South Handley Road Community Improvement District.
Thank you, Mayor Demmett. In compliance with the revised state statute of Missouri, Chapter 67, Section 67.1471.2, the Community Improvement District Board is required to submit their proposed annual budget with revenues, expenditures, rates of assessment, and taxes to the Brentwood Board of Aldermen no earlier than 180 days and no later than 90 days prior to the first day of their fiscal year. Their fiscal year, very much like the city of Brentwood, is a calendar year, runs from January 1 through December 31st. In board docs, you have the proposed budget. If we have comments, we have 60 days prior to the first day of the relevant fiscal year to submit those comments in writing. They should be recommendations only, which means that they can do with them what they want. And so that is presented for you this evening. Have you had a chance to review that? Do you have any comments?
Okay.
So we will submit it. The next item, similarly to that, is 8750 Manchester Road Community Improvement. They also have a similar calendar year like the city of Brentwood. The proposed budget is in board docs. If you have comments on that as well, we are happy to submit that. If you've had a chance to review that, any comments?
Thank you. One item left.
We have some great news this evening. The Commission for Accreditation of Parks and Recreation is the only national accreditation of parks and recreation departments, is a valuable measure of the department's overall quality of operations, management, service to the community. And this is the best way to demonstrate that our department, our Parks and Recreation Department and staff, meaning Eric and his staff, provide the community with the highest level of service. It stands for Authoritative Assessment Tool for Parks and Recreation through compliance with the standards of excellence. The accreditation assures policymakers, department staff, the general public, and taxpayers that an accredited Parks and Recreation has been independently evaluated against established benchmarks as delivering a high level of quality. This morning, Eric was in Atlanta attending the national conference. He met with the commission, and they were happy to bestow upon the City of Brentwood Parks and Recreation Department the accreditation that he's been working on since April of, I believe, 2013.
Wow.
So it takes a
That's
long
great.
time to get to this point. And I want to thank you all for your support in making that possible. I want to thank the residents for their support of our Parks and Recreation. So we have another check mark to put and brag about, actually, for the city of Brentwood. So congratulations.
Thank you. Next up is the consent agenda. We have 3 items. Are there any questions about any of these items or any requests to remove any of the items from the consent agenda? If not, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderwoman Tice.
Yes.
Alderman Weggie.
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims.
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Yes.
Alderman Gould.
Yes.
Alderwoman Harder.
Yes.
Alderman Erger.
Yes.
By a motion of 7-0, it carries. Motion
All right,
carries.
great. We have no old business, so we'll move on to the new business, of which we have 4 items. The first up is Bill number 6529. Can we get a first read by title only, please?
Bill number 6529, first reading an ordinance repealing ordinance number 5153 and establishing a revised compensation schedule for Brentwood employees and related matters, and providing for the effective date of this ordinance.
All right, who's participating? Is Tangela presenting on this?
Good afternoon. So essentially, Exhibit A on 9-3, I had mistakenly sent in the working document and not the final document utilized in all of the financial exercises that Michelle in Finance and I did for the different numbers that we presented. So what we have is attached the final draft, the final salary, essentially when PayPoint sent those numbers over. When I converted those to salaries versus per hour, I left off the rounding, which is 4 decimals, which sounds minimal. However, the 4 decimals do change salaries at the end result, which is what you have.
Okay. Any increase to the amount of money that we're talking about? Okay.
All of the numbers on that Exhibit A is what we used on all of the different exercises to give the estimations for the 60th, 70th, 90th. All of those numbers came from that document.
Okay. Any questions? We would like to have a second read on this tonight, so if we can get a motion to that effect.
I'll move. Second.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, can we get a second read of Bill number 6529 by title only, please?
Bill number 6529, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance repealing ordinance number 5153 and establishing a revised compensation schedule for Brentwood employees and related matters, and providing for the effective date of this ordinance.
Chair would entertain a motion to perfect Bill number 6529 in ordinance form.
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderwoman Tice.
Yes.
Alderman Weggie.
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims.
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Yes.
Alderman Gould.
Yes.
Alderwoman Harder.
Yes.
Alderman Erger.
Yes.
By a vote of 7-0, Bill 6529 will become ordinance number 5157.
Thank you. Next up is resolution number 1523, a resolution approving an agreement with Castle Contracting LLC for trail repair services. Are you handling this, or is Dan?
If you recall, earlier this year, through an RFQ process, we selected Castle. Then we brought to this board a design contract. It's a design-build contract. This is now the build part. So as part of the build, you can see I broke down, there's general conditions, removal of the existing improvements. There's slope repair, which is what we're really focused on. This is basically phase 2 down at the Hanley Park. So last year we did 3 slope failures going from Litzinger Road Bridge going north. This is past that, closer to the Hanley Dog Park. Some of the other stuff it includes is concrete trail pavement instead of asphalt, which is there. Fencing in the same locations. There's some chain link, there's some ornamental. And then we had asked for an alternate to extend the ornamental fence to protect that new skylock baskets, so people wouldn't get the idea of trying to climb down those like stair steps. So we're looking at a total of $809,500, but we put in a 10% contingency for $894,50. And I know Castle's here too, Christy with Castle, in case you have specific questions. But that's basically it, and this is going to get reimbursed through FEMA. You know, there's a ceiling of $900,000, but we're just below it so far.
Okay, any questions? Yes, Alderman
I
Gould.
do have one question. I know that when we did the other bank stabilization, we ran into some unsuitable soils and had to increase sort of the engineering and all of that. Have we accounted for that in this budget in expecting that we're probably going to have the same soil condition?
For having me, Christy Brinkman with Castle. We did, given that we ran into unsuitable soils with the previous project, we did additional geotechnical testing with this project to make sure that we were accounting for that. We couldn't get everything based on it being an active creek, but we do feel like we have an appropriate level of remediation that will be in there. That's why we did also suggest that you hold a contingency just in case there's something abnormal that does come up that we weren't able to test for, but we did additional geotechnical testing just so that we could make sure that our design accounted for that remediation work that we experienced on the last failure.
Yeah, Great, thank you.
Anyone else? If not, we need a motion to approve Resolution 1523.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? I'm sorry, let's do a roll call, please.
Alderwoman Tice.
Yes.
Alderman Weggie.
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims.
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Yes.
Alderman Gould.
Yes.
Alderwoman Harder. Alderman Erger.
Yes.
By a vote of 7-0, Resolution 1523 will carry.
Great,
Carries.
thank you. Next up is approval for the Brentwood Fire Departments to participate in the state ARPA grant that supports ambulance service programs. Chief, I think you're handling this.
Yes, good evening, and thank you for this opportunity. Unfortunately, the last public safety meeting was canceled, and an hour after that was canceled, we received this notice of funding for additional ARPA grants. Additionally, Ways and Means Committee meeting was canceled. So without taking this to committee and bringing it to the full board, we do not have a resolution because this is just approval to make application. If the grant is funded, then we would bring back the agreement to the city and a resolution at that point. It is specific to ambulance service and handed out by the Department of Health and Senior Services. So it's different than the prior grants that we have received and applied for. And we also believe this one is slightly less competitive than the other ones. So we are confident. This would reduce capital improvement expenses in future years. We do have one of these monitors included in the price of the new ambulance. That's typically what we've done in past practice, in addition to another replacement further down the line. So we are asking for approval to apply for this grant.
Need a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderwoman Tice.
Yes.
Alderman Weggie.
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims.
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Yes.
Alderman Gould. Alderwoman Harder.
Yes.
Alderman Erger.
Yes.
Motion carries by a vote of 7-0.
Don't we need to get approval for second reading?
This was just a
It's a
motion.
res-
Oh, it's just a motion?
Yeah.
Okay, it just said first and second reading on the,
No, it shouldn't have.
Oh,
If it did, I missed that. Oh, it did. No.
I mean, I'm still
it
for
doesn't.
it. I
No,
just-
okay, yeah,
far
no,
be it
it's,
from,
it was
you
just a
know.
motion. Yeah, no, we're good. But thank you for pointing that out. So it did pass. Next up is bill number 6530. Can we get a first read by title only, please?
Bill number 6530, first reading, an ordinance establishing compensation for performing the duties of the office of city administrator for the city of Brentwood, Missouri, repealing prior conflicting ordinances and providing for the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. I'm the one that's brought this to you tonight, and that is in response to the compensation plan that you all passed back last month. We needed to get our city administrator, we need to be consistent. All of our employees are at the 60th percentile amongst our comparators. We need to get our city administrator also at the 60th percentile. And so I had made a request of Tangela to get us, I don't know if Tangela wants to present on this, you can, otherwise I'll go ahead and keep talking. I asked Tangela to get us the salary for all the city administrators and managers for the 24 comparators that we used. And then looking at that, I knew it was 10 above, 14 below, but then we asked PayPoint to double check my math, because that's not my strong suit, and it did turn out I was correct. So this would be setting the compensation for our city administrator so that it is consistent with the 60th percentile, and it sets it then at, as you see in the in the ordinance, at $190,463. I don't know if you have any questions on that. If not, can we get a motion for a second read?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Mr. City Attorney, can we get a second read of bill number 6530 by title only, please?
Bill number 6530, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance establishing compensation for performing the duties of the office of city administrator for the city of Brentwood, Missouri, repealing prior conflicting ordinances and providing for the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to perfect bill number 6530 into ordinance form.
So moved. Second.
Okay, any discussion?
I just
Yes.
have one question about funding it. Was this like built into the budget already? Because this, like, as you read, we did extend 1,000,000.44.
I'm looking at Michelle back there. I'm assuming it was not budgeted because we didn't know what it was.
Will this come to just be
Because I think we're going to have to do a budget amendment anyway for, we're going to have to do a budget amendment anyway for what you all passed for the compensation plan.
Right.
I would imagine we'll take this up at that
the
same
budget
time.
amendment. Okay, I just
I'm
wanted to make
seeing a
sure
nod by
procedurally-
Michelle that, yes, that's how we're going to handle it.
I
so.
just wanted to make sure procedurally we
Yes.
sort of accounted for that somewhere, so.
This simply approves it, we then have to budget it. Okay. Did we get a motion to perfect? I think we did, right? Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderwoman Harder?
Yes.
Alderman Erger?
Yes.
What do we have here? Oh, by a vote of 7-0, Bill 6530 becomes ordinance number 5158.
Okay, thank you. Last up is citizen comments. Anybody in the public care to address the board? Now is the time to do so. All we ask is that you come down to the podium, state your name, and you'll be given up to 3 minutes.
No one
No one?
online.
Okay. I do have a request for us to go into closed session tonight pursuant to RSMO 610.021 subsections 1 and 3. Can we get a motion to that effect, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderwoman Harder?
Yes.
Alderman Erger?
Yes.
Motion carries by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, thank you, everybody.